Fresh out of school. It is March 7th, 7 p.m. in the beautiful, wonderful city of Los Angeles. I'm your host of Drug Dealers to Businessmen podcast, Duane Cofield, and this is the weekly tap in, and I'm tapping in. What it do, family? What's cracking? What's cracking? What's cracking? If you guys are just new to the podcast, make sure you put your city in the comments right down below. Hit the subscription and the notifications if you're watching on YouTube. Let's ride, man. It's been a really, really enlightening week. I learned so much, man, but I want to give you guys a shout out. So make sure you put your city down there where you tapping in from. We got listeners from all over the place, all over the world. So we're happy about that. Yeah, man, this whole episode is going to be about insane belief in yourself. Insane belief in yourself, right? So we're going to talk about what we learned from watching the JayZ. What it do, man? What's cracking, Samuel? Shout out to the ATL. Yes, sir. Man, I can't call it, brother. All right, NYC. What's cracking in New York City in the building? City Slicker. I see you, homie. Appreciate the NYC tapping in. Hopefully the weather's lovely out that way as well in Atlanta. Wherever you're listening, tuning in from. Globally, I hope you're safe. Man, it has been a great week, man. Just coming out of a retail class and we're talking about location. Speaking of which, I think I showed you guys last time some of what I was reading, man. This is a magazine. This is QSR Magazine, quick service restaurant magazine, man. You can order this if you got a restaurant or you're pursuing a restaurant. You can order it, and it talks about all the chains and what they're doing and how many locations they have and et cetera, et cetera. What's up, Tanisha? Appreciate you as always tapping in, man. You're one of the loyal ones, and I certainly do appreciate that. But you know, you gotta do things that you want to be, right? You gotta almost fake it until you make it, right? So this one has got the 40-40 list. This is talking about people with I think 40 locations or something like that. But this has got the shack on here with the big chicken. And I know one of the homies said he's opening one in Arizona, so that's pretty sweet. But it's inspiring, right? And it's keeping me in the mix of what's going on with quick service restaurants, given the fact that we will have a chain in the next 4 years, starting off with at least one location and then branching out from that point. But that's what we're doing. All I'm doing is talking it, speaking it, reading it, looking at it, watching videos, books, buying books. I'm immersing myself in the success of that, right? I'm not playing with that. I keep telling my wife, I'm like, the thing that's going to get us to where, because we want to get a pad back by the beach, I said the thing that's going to get us there of all the business is going to be the chicken. I don't know why, but of all the reasons, I think the chicken is going to actually get us there, right? So my advice to you, or at least the advice that I'm giving to myself, is immerse yourself in whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, whatever it is you're trying to do. Get involved in it. Go see it. Go touch it. Go experience it. Look at the price. Go make it a reality. You know, we do so much. We do a lot of imagination with negative, right? The worst case scenario. But it's very seldom that we look about things in our life and say, what if I win? Right? You know, what my expectations should be, what if I actually pull this shit off? What if I actually accomplish what my intention is setting to be? What if I actually pull this off? And you start to believe in it, right? Because a lot of times we talk that shit, right? But do we really believe in what we're doing? Do we really believe in what we're about to pursue, right? Or there's some hidden doubt that's really dominant, but we're faking it, like and it was at a time I remember my wife was like, "Man, I want a new house in LA, I want a new kitchen." And in my mind, I'm like, that's damn near impossible. Right? That's the first thing that's coming to my mind is, man, how are we gonna pull this off? I have no idea. I have no clue. And and that's the thing and the beauty about dreaming and going after your dreams. You don't have to have the exact details. You don't need to know play by play. You don't need to know that. You need to walk according. You need to go in that direction. You need to get involved into things, right? But you don't need to know the details. And I think that's a lot of times where we get frustrated and we lose our patience with the process is that we feel like we have to know every move. Okay, well, what's next? Okay, well, what's next? If God told you all that stuff, you'll probably mess it up anyway. So what God's trying to do is get us to go lead us in that direction so that we discover the things ourselves and we look like we're not supposed to get it. Right? God was always trying to prove that he's still in the miracle business, still showing out. The way he does that is through us, right? So we have to go out there and believe. But this magazine is really good and it's really detailed, and it talks about all these different types of businesses, who's doing what, Detroit Wing Company, and it just gives you some ideas and inspiration. One, that chicken is where it's at for us, so we really believe in our brand. So just kind of giving you, I know I mentioned it last time, but I didn't give you too much insight on that, and I wanted to show you what it actually looked like and show you that you can get a lot of these things for free. The key is not assuming that you're going to get a no, right? Don't assume the no. Ask any damn ways. Ask, see if you can get it for free. See if you can move ahead anyways, but ask anyways. Because a lot of times, and I learned that with anything you want, there's a book by Derek Sivers, who the guy who came up with CD Baby and back in Silicon Valley heyday. But, he was one of the ones that said that don't assume no, don't, because a lot of times in our head, we automatically make the assumption that, they're going to say no. No, that's not going. No, don't make the assumption. Don't count yourself out. Right. And tying it back to what our subject is today, I don't know if many of you had the opportunity of watching the Genius Kanye West documentary that's on Netflix. Fantastic. Right. It tells you through his trials and tribulations. But one of the things that I do is I extrapolate what I want out of situations. I don't care if people assume that it's bad, or you look at the person for if they're dealing with some mental health or whatever the case may be. I get it. But what I do is I extrapolate the more important factors that I know that I can use. Right. For instance, his belief in himself. Insane belief in himself. Right. He would go and he would know what he wanted. He kept saying he was a rapper. He would get JayZ, Dame Dash, but it showed you looking throughout that whole entire documentary. He got on because he asked JayZ for an opportunity. And one of the things JayZ was like, closed mouth don't get fed. You lucky you spoke up or you wouldn't be on this track. And that's the thing in life, right? We don't speak up. We don't ask for situation. We're not asking. Like, we're assuming no. I'm not gonna ask Hov. Man, I sent a message to Beyonce on Instagram. Could you ask your husband to do my podcast? I don't know if she's gonna ask him. I don't know. I have no clue. But I tell you what, I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna attempt. I'm gonna put my best foot forward. Why? Because I don't know. You never know what could happen. But it's that belief in what I'm doing, right? I keep saying JayZ is going to eventually do my podcast. I don't know when, but I know what's going to happen. You heard him throughout that entire documentary. I'm going to be the best dressed rapper alive. They have no idea what I'm about to do with this fashion game. And he kept saying it throughout the documentary over and over and over again. And the thing about repetition is if you repeat something or you hear something over and over and over and over and over again, it becomes truth. Whether it's reality or not, it becomes your truth. So you got to be careful what type of messages that you're hearing on a daily basis. If you're not enough and you're constantly hearing you're not enough, you're not enough, you're not enough, you'll start to believe that music too. You'll start to dance to that. You'll start to react to it. Okay, I guess I'm not enough. But if you hear you're the greatest, you're the greatest, you're the greatest, and you start to tell yourself you're the greatest, ain't nobody got a story like you, eventually you're going to start believing that stuff too. Right? It's a matter of time. Right. So you got to make sure that you're surrounding yourself. There was a guy named Melvin Van Peebles, which is Mario Van Peebles' dad. I tell this story all the time. If you ever get a chance, watch that, the Black and White. It's a documentary that was on HBO. And he talked about his filmmaking. And he said, one of the reasons why he was able to make so many films is because nobody ever told him that he didn't know what he was doing. So he just kept going. right? And a lot of times it's other people's opinions or other people's viewpoints that we start absorbing and adopting that starts to fuck with our beliefs of ourselves. We stop believing in what we actually are, right? We come out the house feeling funky, fresh, and clean and dope. Somebody's like, "You put that on?" Like in their face, and like, who are you? You know what I'm saying? Who are you to tell me what I need to wear? Who are you? You're not part of this. And we take people's judgments and for whatever they're going through in life, and we take it as the gospel as it relates to our dreams. We can't have this being the gospel for what? Who are you? What? How does your opinion matter? Right? And that's we need to adopt that attitude. Only opinion matters is mine. How I think about my art. And that's what I took from him. He believed in himself. He believed in himself to the point to where it didn't matter what other people said or thought. And we have to do that, right? It doesn't matter what's going on. If you basing your acceleration in life or your retreat based on what somebody else's opinion of you is, that's a pretty harsh way to live life. That's gotta suck. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna live my life according to what other people think. I'll get feedback, but I'll take what I want from that feedback. I'm not gonna take it as you're attacking me. We take too many things personal, like these are personal attacks. Nah, man, they attacking what the business did. It's not you. Quit taking it personal. And rejection is not personal. We can't worry about whether somebody rejects us or embraces us. We can't worry about that. What's going on, John? Appreciate you tapping in. South Central Pedal Pushers. Yes, indeed. We can't worry about what other people think about us, man. We're going to succeed based on what somebody else is huffing and puffing about. And we got to realize back to Don Miguel Ruiz in the Four Agreements, right? We can't think about what somebody take things personal because people are basing it on however they're feeling at that time. If somebody hits the lottery or somebody gets a garnishment on their check, there's going to be two different responses to your outfit, right? They hit the lottery, man. You look at this cat, man. He come out fresh every day. They get $100 garnishment. Now was they last, and now they negative $100 in the bank. They looking at you like trash, or they're not going to say anything. So that subjective ass response, that's a hell of a way to live. Who wants to live like that based on what somebody else's opinion on how their day is going up and down? Ain't nobody got time for that. Right? How I feel. I look on some OT Genesis. I look real good today. You play that song in the morning over and over again until you feel good. Right? You wonder why people change the way so that they feel better. They think it's going to change. A lot of that stuff is internal, but you got to have that burning desire that whatever you're going to do is going to be amazing. And when I say insane belief in yourself, it's got to be to the point to where nobody else believes it but you. Because oftentimes you're going to be that lone ranger on that journey where it's not going to make any sense. Everything's going against you and everybody done abandon you, but you got to keep rocking. You got to keep walking in stride, right? You got to keep pushing. I don't care if anybody believes you out there, the main one out there burning. If you only one selling hot dogs, whatever it is, you got to be the last man standing and willing to die for your dreams, right? Because what are we living for if we're not doing that? What's the point? Oh, man, you know what? I'm living to be basic. I'm living just to live, make it cool. Man, I'm putting my dent in the universe, killer. Period. Putting my dent in the universe. I'm helping people put theirs in the universe so that they know they were here. God just bought the biggest giant house in LA. They got this thing. You look it up. Big giant. This thing got a nightclub, bowling alleys, you name it in there, full throttle, right? And you look at the guy's story. I had to look it up. Who in the world bought this? Local guy out of the valley, right? He got a company called Fashion Nova. Fashion Nova is huge, right? But you read the story. It's the pivotal and the most important part of the story is his dad ran shops. His dad started in retail. So a lot of times when I talk to you guys about legacy, right? Pop's got it cracking in order for his son to do that, right? So you got to get it started now because you got little ones watching you. My kids are watching. They're watching everything we do. The millions may not pop with us. They may pop with them. It may pop with their kids, but it's going to pop with somebody because Pop got it popping without putting a spin too much on it. But you understand what I'm saying. Somebody got to get it cracking. And you'll hear these things when these businesses, somebody started. It may not be to the point to where it is today, but somebody started it, kids kept it going, and now it is what it is. I tell people all the time, man, come on, start something so that your kids can watch and see that they got an option. They very well may go work for somebody else, but they can always come back home and say, at least I can work for my family business and I could take it to the heights and places that it's never seen before. But you got to have that belief in yourself that you're starting something. You're starting something substantial. You're starting something oftentimes with barely anything. I tell, man, it doesn't take $1 million to start a business. Oftentimes it doesn't take more than 1,000. Depends on what you need, if you're starting a service or not. My encouragement is, man, not quit your job. I'm not telling you that, because oftentimes you can learn a whole industry from your job. But what I am suggesting is start something entrepreneurial if you can, or if you're able. Build some. It could be hobby. It could be something that you just do on the weekend. It doesn't matter. But the key is get popping. So that, one, you can get that experience and learn how to manage a business. There's so many YouTube things out there you can look up in terms of setting up your business. If you want to learn how to design, want the inside of your business or whatever, you need to start visualizing. Use SmartDraw. SmartDraw is a software program that allows you to hop on there. You can do a 2-week trial, just design your restaurant, whatever, and print out the PDF and hand it to an architect and see if you can get it popping. My thing is, go in that direction, man. That faith's got to be super strong. And when you see that Yeezy, watch it. His faith is undeniable from day one. Once he starts that documentary, you can look at that, his faith the entire time. He believes in himself. He doesn't care what anybody thinks, right? He practicing his Grammy speech. Way before he even had a record deal, he was practicing his Grammy speech. You talking about speaking something into existence? You got to practice. What's your practice? Speaking to your company. Practice whatever it is that's consistent with your successful. That's what you practice. Period. What am I going to look like? What do I want to test drive? Right? We just got a new car. I test drove this thing 4 or 5 years ago. Knew we was getting it though. That's the thing. You got to have that faith, that belief in yourself. I don't care what the market says. I don't care what anybody says. Miracles happen every day, and millionaires are born every day. So get cracking. What's holding you back? If it's information, we in the most abundant information age that you can be in. The internet is full of information. You just got to know what questions to ask. That's the key right there. What do I need to start? What businesses? And oftentimes it ain't gonna be, it's not gonna be a straight up answer where here's what you need to do next. Sometimes it's gonna come out of necessity. It may come out of who I just read somebody it was a pretty interesting success story. It wasn't the Fashion Nova guy, but the Fashion Nova guy, just to kind of continue on that story, his dad started a retail business. Selling clothing. His son was around that retail business. His son wanted to take it and do his own type of spin on that, right? So by him working at his father's business, he learned suppliers. He learned what costs are. He learned a lot of different things that were involved in the process of running a retail shop. But he realized that what my dad had, what my dad didn't have that I have, is e-commerce. So he started putting this stuff online. I have influencers. He started using more and more influencers. He turned that company into $1 billion company. And he did it out of Panorama City. He had one store in the Panorama City Mall. That's a mall in the Valley that like nobody in LA really goes. People in the Valley go to, but not people from like LA. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at it like that, and I'm not hating on Panorama City. Shout out to Panorama City. I love the Valley. Valley's, it's all love. Yeah, he said, practice my interview with the practice. Nah, you gotta practice it. You see this, you'll see this so many times with success stories. People practiced what they wanted, right? You need to dress for the occasion. You need to learn how to tie ties. You need to learn how to dress. You need to learn how to, all these different things that you want to practice for. And it's not insane. It's preparing yourself. When are you going to prepare yourself? When would you like to practice for the Grammy Awards? The night of the Grammys? You got to have these expectations, and the universe will start to conspire to give it to you. It's based on what you're intending, your expectation. And even if it's not, right? If it doesn't go according to plan, then it doesn't go according to plan. So listen to that, right? It doesn't go according to your plan. This wasn't part of your plan. So don't trip. This wasn't supposed to be. You weren't supposed to get that. It wasn't for you, right? What's for you was for you. It's not for anybody else. It's not going to be. And we think we take L's. We think we're not. Oh, you didn't get this. I remember like I said, I remember my wife and I were looking at houses back in the day. We was about to go to Moreno Valley at the end, far. And if we would have got that, we wouldn't have what we have now. So a lot of times, man, there's addition by subtraction. You dig? Like things that are taken away from you actually add to what you're supposed to have, and what you be like, oh, I'm glad I waited. I mean, spouses, everything. You like, oh, I'm glad I waited. I'm straight. If I would have moved on this or that, you wouldn't be in the position. There's a movie called The Butterfly Effect. Watch that too. The thing about me is I know God's talking to me in everything that I'm touching, whether it's basketball, if I'm watching basketball, if I'm listening to something. I know God can intervene at any time. So I need to be paying attention for the God moments, right? What are the lessons in this movie? Even though they're telling me not to watch it, some reason why I'm sitting my butt right here, some reason why it's on my TV, right? Even though I'm not, okay, what's the message? And that's when God would deliver. I remember I was watching that late at night. You see it in my old journal. Watching, I was amazed with Stevie Wonder. I just couldn't believe it. I was like, man, told my wife the next day, man, this dude right here, he got a handicap. And this was when I first came home from the pen. Like, this dude got a handicap, man. He made it, and I'm writing it. It's in my journal. Man, I wish I could meet this cat, and saying all these things about Stevie. And within the next journal and a half, I'm working for the dude. Met him, talked to him, kicked it with him. You see it in the next few years or whatever. But that's the type of stuff I'm talking about. When you write it down, when you believe in it, when you start to act your intentions, it's magic. It is so magic, man. It's the Alchemist. You create what you want. Create whatever lifestyle you want to live. It's all with you and how you believe it. If you don't believe it, it's not going to happen. Right? You can go from that guy Fashion Nova being working for you probably would think it wasn't going anywhere. And they're working for my pops. And you just bought the biggest crib in Los Angeles. This thing has a disco in it. A full throttle nightclub. Like a regular size one. So think about that, right? And started off pretty much just selling clothes, fast fashion clothes. So it's really inspiring to listen to these stories, right? The success shows you that you can do it. It's possible. Somebody has to get it started. And if it doesn't start with you, you don't have to be selfish in a sense. It may not end with you. It may be your grandkids or your kids. They may be the ones that start balling off of it. But somebody's gonna eat. Somebody got to get it cracking. You feel what I'm saying? So that's what I want you. And then also, when you watch the JayZ documentary, watch how much life he was being spoken to. His mom was on his side constantly. And that was pretty much his only cheerleader. She was speaking life to him, memorized his raps, knew everything about everything he did, was obsessed, damn near obsessed with him, which made him believe in himself even more. So the key is, and a lot of times we don't have everybody who's not around us that can speak life into us. I get that, right? He was a fortunate soul to have that. But if you don't have that, right, you got to have these conversations with yourself internally and be speaking life into yourself. D, you got it. Man, you're going to get it. Don't even trip. Even if you take this L, don't trip. You'll get the next one. And you got to motivate yourself because it's going to be a rough road, man, especially when you get close to enemies. Going to be chunking darts, swords, knives, snakes, rats, bad memories, you name it, constantly be throwing things at you when you're on your path, when you're on your way, when you're trying to go sign the lease to the building, when you're getting the keys to the such and such, when you're supposed to meet the inspector here, when you're supposed to do all that, he's coming with the darts, flat tires, batteries, random hoses breaking, keys being locked in places. These are the darts that this fool uses, right? These random things that could throw you completely off. And you're like, man, why did this happen right now? Man, reason why it happened right now because it made you take your eyes off the prize, didn't it? Yeah. Goal accomplished. That's all he wants you to do is take your eyes off the prize. You keep your eyes on the prize, you'll be doing hurdles. You jump in, not even looking at the ground, just leaping, shoot, shoot, right? Because you're not paying attention to the obstacles. They're irrelevant, right? You're getting in rhythm. But when you get out of rhythm, when something throws you, when a curve catches you off guard, when things aren't come out of nowhere, unexpected, the things that really, really stop you and stifle you, that's his satisfaction. He uses that all the time. But God knows you can overcome it. You do too. That's the problem, though, right? Sometimes we've been conditioned to believe that we can't. Believe that we're not capable, right? And then also you'll see on society, the world, news, all these things constantly throwing statistics about black men. Y'all can't do this. You're dying, hypervent, whatever they talking about. I just tune it out. Not me. Me and God already on some other stuff. We got a different kind of plan, right? I believe in myself. I believe in what I can do. I didn't before, but I do now because I've seen what I've done. So it's important for us to get on a track so that we can develop a track record. So we can look back at what our accomplishments are and say, oh, I already did something similar. I did something like that in 86. When I got in the game in 87, I did this. I was an entrepreneur then, right? And then I learned about differentiation. I got in doing it. And you start to look back at your track record. And you say, man, I was a motherfucker anyway, whether society believes it or not. Look at my track record. These are facts. These are things that I've done and accomplished. So oftentimes we need to go back and do a self-analysis, a self-audit of our accomplishments and our goals and see what we've already accomplished and done. And that hopefully that sparks a different kind of belief in yourself where you realize that you're invincible and you can accomplish anything. Not hubris or to the point of arrogance, but almost to the point to where how can anybody tell you about you? Right? You gotta have that vision. I'm a one of a kind. How could you tell me about me? That's impossible. God only built one, and he didn't give you the instructions. So how can you tell me about me? That's impossible. Only person that could tell me about me is God. Even if I'm like similar to my parents, yeah, but I'm not them. I might be similar. I might have that. But I'm a different model. He only built one of these, just like he built one of those. Even twins, he built one of those. Right? So there ain't man, yeah, you see with these yeah, man, you can't average me out. You can't put me in the masses. You can't bottle me. You can't, none of that. One of a kind, one on one, as JayZ said. There's no more. And that's not arrogance, that's understanding that you're unique, that your dreams are unique, that your experiences are unique, that everything's going to be different. So you be careful with who you ask about advice, who you seek advice from, right? Because they can only give you advice based on their experiences and what happened to them. And that was a unique experience. You dig? So, and they're not done. How can anybody tell you about living life unless they done? If you ain't finished yet, man, keep living, man, and just leave some good notes. Please. I'll do the same. We need to, man. It's affecting our legacy. So it's up to us to write that story. What do you want your story to be? Right? What do you want it to become? Write it down. Talk about it. Man, I want 6 restaurants. I've already named off the cities. Period. Cities that we want to go to, that we want to visit often and have a reason to. Go check on our chicken. Period. Slide through Vegas, Dallas, Phoenix, Seattle, Salt Lake, Yay area, right? Denver, perhaps. Places that we like to see. And I'm speaking it. I'm constantly talking about it. Brand is done. We ordered another Easy Up. That should be here in a couple of days. And I'm showing the universe, man, I'm putting investment behind it. Period. I'm putting dollars behind it. Showing the universe I'm dead serious, man. I'm gonna be either what I want to be, or I'm gonna be a hell of a story that was trying to get there. And hopefully inspire, finish the job then. I started it, y'all finish the job. But one thing we ain't doing is retreating. One thing we're not doing is not believing in ourselves. We're getting there, we're developing that insanity. Of course I can do it. I don't care what the situation looks like right now. I know it looks dire and I know it looks like I may take an L, but I'm not taking one. It's impossible. I will not lose. You listen to a lot of JayZ's early stuff, the blueprint to all that, son. Be nobody built like you. You design yourself. I see ourselves, my one of a kind self, get stoned every day like Jesus did. What he said, I said, has been said before. Keep doing your thing. Say no more. You feel what I'm saying? So when you start to listen to lyrics like that and you understand those connections with that cat doing the same thing, even though his journey is unique, we can we can do that, right? We can do something similar with our lives. We can change the game. And that's the key right there, right? It's changing the trajectory of our families by taking a step, by being bold, right? What they say, fortune favors the brave. Fortune favors the brave, meaning that we got to go do something that hasn't been done in our family. We got to be the sacrificial lamb to show that it's possible. And I don't care what that is. It could be home ownership. It could be car. It could be graduation, PhD. Doesn't matter, but be the first in something called the law of categories if you're talking marketing language. And you too can do that as well. It's possible. It's something that I consider really important in terms of reaching that self-actualization goal. You want to leave pictures, history, all that stuff. You dig? All that. I'm taking pictures. I got old pictures. We got pictures. My son putting the corporate stuff on the bus. And we're gonna show him how long you've been around this business. So when you take it and run with it and turn it into whatever it was designed and supposed to be, all I did was plant the seed, homie. And you can reap the harvest because that's what you're supposed to do with your family, as far as I'm concerned. Legacy in business, right? Or legacy in something. So yeah, man. Watch the JayZ documentary. It is powerful. It's you may come across as him being narcissistic or whatever the case may be, but I just saw it as believing in yourself and not letting anybody tell you who you are or who you can become. Don't do that. Don't give them that kind of power. Why would you? They don't have that kind of power. They don't. They shouldn't. You dig what I'm saying? So that will conclude our weekly tap in for this week. We hope you really enjoyed it. So the couple of things that I'm reading, Competitive Advantage by Michael Porter. It's an oldie but goodie. But what this does is helps you realize also how to maintain and create a sustainable, superior performance. It's a little bit more technical, but if you're starting your business and you're trying to figure out how to maintain a competitive advantage, right? Read this. Don't underestimate yourself. But what I said, talking about the no, don't assume that you can't read something like this, or that it's not your style, or oh man, it's not mine. I don't read, etc., etc. Oh, one other thing. It's also another vision that we accomplished. Those who are listening on the podcast, you can't see it, but we got the shirts done. Thank you for all your help. Those who contributed, we got it done on the front, got them back. They're nice. This is a large. These are available on the tour. Not selling anything, but I'm showing you how you could talk about something, you could put it in the air, but the universe responds to those who take action. So I'm encouraging you guys to take action sometime this week on something. I don't care what it is towards your dream. Take action. Make a move, make a call, make a drive up. I don't care what it is, but take action. I had to take action. We said we were going to expand. I took action and bought another Easy Up. Now we're going to have a footprint of 2. We're going to invest in more drinks. Now we're expanding our operation in terms of chicken operations. So we moving. and I'm taking chances. Is it paying off yet? I don't know. I know that they say we got some really good chicken, and we're hearing a consistent feedback on that, which means we got a great product, which means we're going to move on, move forward. So I encourage y'all to do the same, man. Your dream is waiting on you. So on the other side of fear, so hop over fear, psych it out, juke its ass, whatever you got to do, make a move. That will conclude our weekly tap in for this week. Hope you really enjoyed it. Hopefully, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. We are almost at 500 subscriptions or subscribers on YouTube. Help us get there. We're only about 15 subscribers away. Help us get there, man. Our goal is to reach 1,000 by the end of the year, man. We're already in March and we're halfway there. God is amazing. Put it in the universe, put it on paper, write your goals down, watch the universe conspire to make it work for you. Have a wonderful and productive week. Tapping out.